Okay, everybody, I'm wearing my XP gear today. Why is that? Because today we're going to talk about the MI-6 pinpointer. I'm going to share with you 6 tips I use to maximize my use of the MI-6 pinpointer. So let's get started. Okay, so tip number 1 applies to XP Deus users and non-XP users. Plenty of people use this pinpointer that do not own an XP detector. So tip number 1, real simple, avoid overcharging the pinpointer. There's no need. I'm going to put a graphic up that talks about the expected life cycle or usage per charge, depending upon the scenario you have, the configuration scenario you've selected. But this is really important because if you do have an XP detector, those come with a charging dongle. What do I mean by that? Well, it's a cord, very simple, and on one end of the cord, it turns into a dongle. There's 3 legs, one of which is used to charge your control unit. The other is used to charge your coil. And then the third one can use to either charge your pinpointer or your headphones. Well, that's 4 devices. There's only 3 cables attached to this dongle. The nice thing is you do not necessarily need to charge this every time you go out. In fact, I only charge it like every 3 or 4 times. So I'm going to, again, put the graphic up here that talks about the expected life cycle per charge. Be aware of that. No need to overcharge it. And how can you tell how much charge is left in your pinpointer? Well, there's 2 ways. If you're using an XP detector and you've chosen to use program 7, you're using this in the pair mode, there is an icon on your control unit that will tell you how much power remains. But if you're not using it in the paired mode, or if you're just using this as a standalone pinpointer, when you turn the pinpointer on, there's going to be a flash of light. It'll either flash 3 times for 100% charge, 2 times for 60% charge remaining, or 1 time for 30% charge. Now, I just used this the other day. Let's see what happens. 2 flashes. Did you see that? So this pinpointer, as it's currently configured, I have about 60% charge remaining. So pay attention to the LED light flashes when you turn it on. All right, tip number 2, also very simple. Do not have your sensitivity set too high. Otherwise, your pinpointer will be unstable. Now, there are 7 programs, as I mentioned, and the difference between programs 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6 really is that 4, 5, and 6 have vibration turned on. Programs 1, 2, and 3 vary in sensitivity. 1 low, 2 medium, 3 high, with both the audio and the vibration turned on. Programs 4, 5, and 6, again, low, medium, and high, with the vibration turned off. The default setting, when you just turn this on out of the box, it actually defaults to program number 2, medium. That's what I choose to use. So just be aware of your sensitivity program, and I'll talk in a moment about how you can change those as you desire to move from one program to another. All right, and to change those programs, we need to understand how the menus work on the MI-6. There's really 2 menus. You'll hear people refer to these as a hot menu. That's something you access once the pinpointer's turned on, and a cold menu. That is a menu you access from the off mode. Let's talk about the hot menu first. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and turn the pinpointer on, and while I'm in the on mode, again, this is the hot menu. I'm going to press the on button. I'm going to hold it down until I hear the first series of beeps. Now, once I'm here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Can you hear that? Let's do it again. All that I'm doing is cycling through each of those 7 menus. And again, I've chosen to use menu number 2. Let's take a look at what that looks like and what it offers. Okay, and to access the cold menu, well, we have to turn our pinpointer off. Okay, I pressed and held that for just a second. It's off. We're not getting anything. what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on and I'm going to continue to hold the on button again until I hear a series of beeps. Now this gives me the opportunity to cycle through 3 different options. I can now move across what is called the 2 different audio options, either the pitch option or the pulse option. The second thing that you can toggle through there is that LED light, whether you want that on or off. Off, of course, will conserve battery power, but I actually like it on so that I can see that battery power. And then, of course, if you're detecting in the dark, that little light will help as well. And then that third option is literally to turn vibration on or off. Let's just demonstrate. What I'm going to do is go back and forth between those 2 audio options, which is the first selection. Those are, again, being pitch and pulse. So I'm in the off mode, right? Hold. Just going to press it once. So do you hear that? So the vibration is on, and that is the pitch. Let's now change that back to pulse. I turn it off, okay? Again, cold menu. Turn it on, wait. Press it one time, just gonna wait. Do you hear that? Okay, 2 very different sounds. Vibration and pulse, not pitch, okay? My LED light's on. I'm gonna turn it off. This time, again, the cold menu, we're gonna turn it on, and I'm just gonna go ahead and cycle to the second menu option and just flip that LED light off. On, we're gonna wait. 1, 2, and there goes my light. Now, again, when you notice when I turn this on and off, I've lost that ability to see my battery light. And it's the same method if I wanted to turn vibration off here. Let's just do it. On, holding it. 1, 2, 3, wait. Now vibration's gone, okay? So you have to unfortunately do these one at a time. So there we go. That's a little bit to swallow, a little bit to digest. Repetition's the key here. Again, programs 1, 2, and 3, everything is on. The difference between 1, 2, and 3 are the sensitivity levels. Programs 4, 5, and 6, vibration is turned off. Most people suggest that you want to avoid those high sensitivity levels. I'm talking about program 3, and I'm talking about program 6, okay? You be the judge of what works best for you. Okay, so just to recap, I talked about there's no need to overcharge. I've talked about tip number 2, optimizing your sensitivity level. I kind of covered tip number 3 there, and that is to make sure you understand the distinctions between the hot and the cold menu. The 4th tip I want to talk about is something called retuning or detuning. But when you have your pinpointer on, if it's too sensitive, if you have a target that's actually large, just by continuing to press the on and off button, it is reducing the discoverable field. Some people refer to this as detuning or retuning, but it is a way to shrink the size of that detectable area. If you continue to press it, it gets smaller and smaller up until a point where the target will disappear. So take a look at this in the manual if you're not familiar with it, but it can come in handy in certain situations. Just a word about program 7. Program 7 is used when your pinpointer is paired with your remote, with your controller, or with your WS6 master. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but let me just say briefly, I choose not to use that. There are some pluses to that. When you turn on your pinpointer, it turns off your coil, and vice versa. It enables what's called research mode. When it's paired, if you're using program 7 and you lose your pinpointer, whether it's on or off, you can trigger the audio so you can find it if it's lost in a field. You can customize your sensitivity levels, your tones. You can see the battery and so forth. There's a lot of reasons why you might want to consider that. I film a lot of videos. I like my viewers to be able to hear the pinpointer. It just works better for me, but just be aware if you're using this with an XP Deus detector, you really want to take a look and think about whether those benefits are attractive to you, and therefore you may want to use program 7. Okay, tip number 5, I want to refer back a bit to make sure you're optimizing your battery life depending on how you detect. You may be overcharging, but you may have a need to optimize your battery life, and very simple things by turning off vibration, turning off the LED light, or perhaps using program 7. These can significantly increase the battery life of your pinpointer. Take a look at the chart I'm going to pop up here and you'll see what I mean. Tip number 6, and this is kind of it's actually a personal tip, but I want to give credit to Gary Blackwell. I saw him do this on one of his videos, but if you notice in the cap here of the MI-6 is concave, and it allows for the insertion of a magnet. It doesn't affect the pinpointer whatsoever, and I just actually glued it in here with, I think, a glue gun I actually used, but it fits perfectly. But when I'm detecting, and sometimes you just can't find those very, very small targets, often that's because it's a piece of iron, some type of ferrous material. And this allows me to tamp into the dirt, into my hole, and I'm checking to see if indeed that's the case. So, detecting is in many cases a math game. We want to find that target, extract that target, and move on to that next hole as quickly as possible. So this is just a nice little hack that you can consider applying. And again, credit to Gary Blackwell for being the first one to share that tip. Okay, folks, I hope this was helpful. This is an incredible pinpointer. I absolutely love it. I think I've had it now for about 1.5 years. I hope these 6 tips, I'm going to list them up here. I hope they were helpful for you. If you have other tips, if you have other things that you do to maximize your MI-6 pinpointer, please drop a comment below and we'll go ahead and share them with others. So until the next video, happy digging.